Hi, this is David again, and I'm going to do this video on something that I'm experiencing right now. You can see I'm sitting somewhere because we don't have any electricity, and the house is getting colder, and of course our cables are off, and my YouTube is off, my computer's off. I'm so upset. You're going to see me animated. You don't like that? Switch it. Go watch mormon.org, mormon.org. I don't care. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I was up last night at 2:30 in the morning, and I was watching a windstorm. And we live in a pretty modern building, and I'm not too worried. Part of the roof blew off. The shingles blew off the building today. But structurally we're just fine. We don't have any heat. And I've been up since 2:30 or 3 o'clock, and it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock now. And I'm going to do something I haven't done. Let me turn my camera so you can see why I'm upset. Okay, here's why I'm upset. You see my patio out there? You see all the furniture turned upside down? You see the tree out there? Let me just give you a little glimpse. Here we go. There we go. 96-mile-an-hour winds. Now, this ain't my first rodeo. I've certainly lived in Massachusetts, and we've certainly lived in winter weather. I've never been in a 96-mile-an-hour wind. Change my camera again to make sure I'm not, because I'm upset, and you know, sometimes I don't think clearly. Sometimes when I'm not upset, I don't think clearly. So I'm waiting, I'm watching, I'm hearing the furniture, I'm hearing the shingles ripped off the roof, wondering if they're going to go through my skylights. I'm watching my heaters. I lost the fireplace. It can't go in this kind of weather. The flu won't allow it, blew the fire out. So I have a backup regular heater and 2 or 3 electric heaters. And they're all working, and I try to back those all up so my kids are safe. Well, electricity goes off, now the main heater's off, the electric heaters are off. And we have an electric stove, not gas. Here's what I'm upset about. When I lived in Massachusetts, when we had a bad snowstorm or an ice storm, by 4 o'clock in the morning, the school districts would come on and they would say, this school is closed, that school is closed, this school is closed, that one, and you knew right away whether you got your kids up or you got them ready, or you were going to have to shovel the snow off your car and take them or get them down to the bus stop. I waited here in Utah, and I waited here in Utah, and I was watching the pictures on the 5 a.m. news, and the trees were falling over. And the newscasters thought, I guess, that was pretty cool. Well, it was newsworthy anyway. And so we're watching the trees fall over, and I'm waiting for the TV or the radio or internet or somebody to say, oh, school is closed today. We don't want our kids out in this kind of weather. It never came. It never came in Utah. Do you think, and I'm exaggerating, and I may not be exaggerating, I don't know what the number is. I think it's about $165 a day that a school gets for each child that shows up. And when a school cancels a school day, in Massachusetts, we always made those days up. Here, I tried to get a Mormon to make a school day up. Teacher, kiss my ass, that ain't gonna happen. So many days of school, and when they smell summer, the teachers are Mormons, they're gone. They're gone. So I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. I go, well, gee, that's kind of unusual. And then pretty soon, the police department comes on the television set, and they said, well, you know, we're in charge of public safety. Don't come out of your houses. I go, oh, okay. I won't take my kids, let them go to school out of the house. And I thought, well, why is the police department doing that and not the school system? Police department don't lose any money. They make overtime. It's all about money in Utah. In Utah, it's all about money. It is not about people. It is not about children. It is not about safety. It is about money. Now, I said, well, maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe my meds aren't working very good. So I get in the car. I have a nice new little car so the wind doesn't, bother it very much. And my 8-year-old wanted to go. I said, okay, come on. So, she's flying in the wind and my hand holding her as we're going to the car. And we drive to the next town. Every block, there was at least one major tree blown down, most of the time across the sidewalks, where the kids should be walking to school. I guess you hand your child a chainsaw in Utah so they could just cut their way, like the jungle in the Philippines. Give them a machete, or here you just give them a damn chainsaw and let them walk through those damn trees that fell on the sidewalk. And if they're riding a bike, they can yell back to the kid behind them, watch out, oh shit, the tree did fall on him. I'm so sorry, Mike, I didn't call out sooner. Well, chances of being hit by a tree? Well, I guess it's pretty reasonable if you've got, 1,000 kids walking to school on 1,000 different streets. Well, we went over to one of the schools, and I'm upset, and yet it's comedy. It is absolutely Mormon comedy. So we went over to the one school, and the entire fence, it was a vinyl fence, blew down into the school grounds. So if the children had been out there playing at recess, it was right by the recess slides and everything, your child could play a game of dodge the 96-mile-an-hour vinyl fence that is flying across the schoolyard. It's kind of a new sport. Maybe the PE teacher could give him credit for that. Oh, he got hit in the head. There's no ambulances. They're all down taking care of the power lines. Okay, so we go by the school. There's no kids there. The parents go, what the we're not sending our kids out in that weather. But school district, they never called. They never said anything. My kids are supposed to be in school right now. You saw the wind outside there. You saw the patio. It's destroyed. Shingles are gone. You know what it's like to be hit with a 2x2 shingle at 96 miles an hour? This is hurricane speed. I think anything over 74 is Hurricane 1 or whatever you call it. So this is a hurricane. How many Southerners let their kids walk to school in a hurricane? But the Mormons do. The Mormons do in Utah, because they don't want to lose that $62. If even half the kids show up, at least we got, $38 for the day. Half the schools don't have electricity. They can't cook a lunch if their life depended on it. None of them that I know of run on generators. They just call the parents. So basically what they do is they bamboozle the parents. We get our kids and we put them in the car. We take them over there. They collect them very quickly for their state and federal statistics for money. And then they call the parents and say, we don't have any power, we don't have any food, and we've had 3 school buses blow over. If you can get around them, would you come and get your child? Now, we live by a major thoroughfare, freeway, and 5 trucks blew over going northbound in the last 3 hours, and 3 blew over going the other way. There goes, do you hear that? There goes the fire department, there goes the ambulance, they're all out. They're all out. Maybe finding kids under trees, I don't know. We go over to the major Walmarts in the area, and here are the 18 22-wheelers all parked up next to Walmart. Drivers that are supposedly as stupid as a rock, but they're smart enough to get those trucks up against brick buildings so that they don't blow over. But gee, the head of the school districts in Davis and Utah and Weber County, they think it's okay for kids to walk in 96-mile-an-hour winds. Now, I think the kids should take chainsaws, and if they need a chainsaw, I really think that the school should provide that. And if they're going to walk under falling trees, they probably should have helmets, and they ought to make little garments for little kids so that they'll be protected for life. Or if they die, they'll go to heaven. Kindergarten garments, so when the trees fall and you're hit in the head with shingles that, weigh 20 pounds, or the other flying debris everywhere, twigs, tree branches, and you know what? None of the red lights are working. So all the children in Utah, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Utah and Utah schools. And if I'm lying, I'm dying. You have to live a mile away from the school before you get any bus service. My dad walked up to school uphill both ways. How about a kindergartner? Are you going to send a 5-year-old out in the early morning in the snow and have him come home in the daytime? A mile? We love the children. Oh, they're little tithe payers. We love remember the primary children's penny parade? This is old. Most of you were never even born. The church was collecting pennies from children. Now they collect dollars in tithing. Can you believe that this school system requires a kindergartner, 5 years old, to walk a mile to school and a mile home alone? That's the laws. They don't have to pick you up if you're less than a mile. Well, my kids are 7/10, so they walk. They walk. So what you get is a traffic jam at school every morning and pollution of 10,000 parents taking their 5, 7, 8, 9-year-old kids to school because Utah doesn't want to provide a bus. Now, I drove school bus for years in different school districts as I was growing up and raising children. They're a high-profile vehicle. They're not as bad as a tractor-trailer, but they are a high profile. The Highway Patrol had all the high-profile vehicles stopped against cement walls, and some of them still blew over, stopped. And while they were filming on one that I was watching, there's a guy that was pulling like a 7 or 8 horses in a huge horse trailer, and he was pulled over and stopped. And while they were broadcasting, in the back, the horse trailer blows over in the middle of the freeway. But it's safe for children to walk to school. In Utah, it's money. It's money and the Mormons. They want that money. If one child shows up, at least it's $68 or $162, whatever it is. At least we got that amount. And if 2 or 3 died, it's so tragic. They died. A tree fell on them. A tree fell on them. Oh, the funeral will be at the North Stake Center on Saturday for little 8-year-old Becca that was hit and killed by a falling tree going to school in 96-mile-an-hour winds. This is so stupid and so funny and so tragic. I have feelings I can't even express. I don't know if I should cry, if I should be happy. I told my kids, you're not going to school, period. You're not going to school today. I'm not sending a child out in that kind of weather. Well, we went by the 8-year-old school, and there were power lines down on the sidewalk that she walks on with sparks. So I guess what you do is you put a helmet on your child, if it's a Utah school, and you hand them a chainsaw, and then, I don't know, do you put shit, you hear that? That's safe. That's safe for kids to be walking in. There goes part of the roof again. What do you put, electrician's gloves on the kids and boots so they can hop over the sparking wires and stay warm? You know, the wind chill out there is like, I don't know, 0. The wind chill is 0. But it's safe. It's safe to have a 5-year-old walking in Utah with no bus transportation, no supervision, and when they go to the light to cross the street, it doesn't work. It doesn't say walk or has the hand up where they've been trained to cross the street. And of course the crossing guards, there's a few of those around, they blew away. They're old people, they've gone to heaven already. They blew into the celestial kingdom. So your 5-year-old is looking at the sign going, what the, hey, cars, I don't know. And then they just start to go. Electrical wires on the ground, sparking. Trees falling everywhere, shingles and roofing and debris flying through the air at hurricane speeds. It's Hurricane 1 speeds. No lights to cross the street with, and I saw 2 buses on 2 wheels. Well, on 3 wheels because buses have duals in the back. The wind blowing, totally empty. Totally empty. Parents going, hey, I don't think it's safe out there. But the school district has that, 73-year-old bus driver that has an eye patch and 8 hearing aids, and he's riding on 3 wheels going down with the wind blowing on him, and there's no kids in the bus. The parents are smarter than some of the school district. School district wants that money. Mormons want that money. Mormons and money. Mormons in the mall. Mormons and tithing. It's all about the money. So if you think you want to come to Utah, or if you're in Utah, again, 30-40% of the people that watch my videos, I wish they wouldn't, because I know they're going to get excommunicated if the bishop traces them. If you want your children who are 5 years old to walk in blizzards, snowstorms, hail, rain, and 96-mile-an-hour winds, come to Utah. We love children, and we spend the least amount of money per child in the United States of America to educate our children, and we get a lot of bang for our buck. There's the bang that they get for their buck. Okay, their abstinence program, sex education in the schools. New report came out yesterday. New report, the states that do abstinence only, highest pregnancy rate. Welcome to Utah. Welcome to Utah. Prescription drug addiction? We're #1 in the United States of America. We're #1 in bankruptcies. We're #1 in fraud and Ponzi and pyramid and multi-level schemes. We're #3 in child abuse and obesity. We're #3, eating ourselves. Drug prescription, like I said, #1. Come to Utah. We abuse our children. We don't pay anything for them in school. We all like our state jobs, and we keep giving more and more money to ourselves and less to the kids. And if a few of them blow off the road or a couple of the trees hit them, screw them. They should have been more, if they'd gone to scouting, they would have seen the tree coming at them. And if they're a 5-year-old and they get lost, shit, who cares? Who cares? Now we can have an Amber Alert, and all of our people who work for Amber, they make money. They make money, and the police can run around on overtime. They make money. The 5-year-old, they don't give a shit about. Never have, never will. We'll make another one that looks just like you. That's what Bill Cosby used to say, punishing his kids. He says, if you do that, he said, I brought you into the world, and I can take you out. I can make another one that looks just like you. Welcome to Utah. My kids are in the house. We don't have any heat. I'm sure if our power is off right across the streets where the schools are, their power is off. And you know what? Now, I'm saying this, and I don't know this. I'm always trying to be honest with you. I'm saying this, I'm not knowing this for sure. I know that Walmart has emergency generators. They can get their people out of the buildings, and they can clear safely and whatever. The schools, I know they have those battery-operated lights. They can get the kids out of school. But they can't heat the school, and they can't cook, and the fire alarms basically don't work when the power is down, and there's no generators. You think Utah's going to spend a generator for a school? You don't know Utah. So here's my video on, I'm looking out here at 96-mile-an-hour winds. Half of the roof, most of the shingles, now roof hasn't blown off yet, but half the shingles are gone. They've been banging all night. I've been sitting here watching Channel 2 News, which is now the most popular news. It used to be Channel 5, owned by the church, but rather than reporting the news, Channel 5 reports about scouting, and no one takes them serious as a newscast organization. And I'm waiting for Channel 2, and they keep saying our town and our town's names, and they're saying, well, we haven't had any word. We think school is in session. Go ahead, do as parents what you think to do. And I go, geez, I'm not sending my kids to school in 96-mile-an-hour winds. When they're having a tornado, a Category 1 tornado, do you see kids in those states with little backpacks on, little skinny arms, because we have a lot of kids that are malnourished because their parents are paying tithing and they can't afford to eat, and little tiny light pants and a coat and a sweater that's been worn by 3 or 4 other brothers, and they're walking out there in 0-degree temperature because they won't provide them a bus, and the buses are going up and down the street empty. Welcome to Utah. The Mormons try to protect their good reputation. This is part of their reputation. They're notorious, they're vindictive, they're vicious, and they will justify this. They'll justify it. All of them will get together in a meeting around the phone and go, well, the weather report died, and, well, there weren't that many trees. There was only one that blew down on our, and only 2 5-year-olds blew away, and we found them. So what's the big deal? There's Mormon thought. There's cult thinking. People aren't valuable. churches, estate centers, and money, and malls. Praise to the man who communed with Jehovah to build the Jesus Mall in Salt Lake City for $5 billion. Let's not take any of that money and provide school transportation for 5-year-olds. Now, an 8, 9-year-old, they can walk a mile and probably be pretty safe in crossing, even if the lights aren't working. They have a little bit of judgment. I wouldn't send a 5-year-old out to walk to school for a mile in a million years. That's child abuse. That's child abuse. And making the parents have to run down and take that child to school because they save a few bucks on a school bus is hideous. It's hideous. And if Romney gets elected to this country, and I don't care, if you people want to elect Romney, I could give a rat's ass. But this is how Romney thinks. He's from the state. He was trained in the state. He thinks like the state. And if he needs to save a buck or so, he'll save it. And look at the people, the 5-year-olds that are pushed to the side, and they're out there at 96-mile-an-hour winds. And it's going to be all day. It's going to be a day and a half. And I can't tell you how much damage. Fences blown down, trees, electrical lines, trucks blown over, trailers blown over, upside down in the yards. Jeez, can you, now am I faking this? Oh, yeah, I am. Ponzi, Elder T. Ponzi, Nephi, is making those noise. See, that's what the Mormons are going to say over at that table. His roof really isn't blowing off. Those shingles probably will miss most 5-year-olds because they're so small. Welcome to Utah. Welcome to Utah, and welcome to Mormon thinking. Thanks.